reach out to each other, raise a song together, and let our voices carry us through. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. When the war clouds gather, it's easy to get angry, and just as hard not to be afraid. But you know, in your own heart, no matter what happens, you just can't turn your back and walk away. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. So hand in hand together, we help each other carry the light of peace within us every day. If we can learn to live it, to walk and talk and give it, the world of peace will be so far away. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working hard to good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, singing through the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come.
Welcome. I'm the Reverend Kevin Tarsa. If we have not met yet, I get to serve this congregation, this Unitarian Universalist community of the mountains, which is gradually celebrating its first 30 years by looking simultaneously backward and forward in time. Early this afternoon, members of this congregation will vote on whether to purchase a new campus, and so to call themselves to live into what that new space might call this community to be. In that same light, this morning we glance back to the life and the influence and values of Utah Phillips, beloved singer, songwriter, storyteller, poet, father, husband, labor organizer, pacifist, anarchist, a founding member of this congregation, and the inspiration and force behind what has become Utah's Place, the shelter within Hospitality House for which this congregation and its building were the initial intake center. 30 years ago, this fall, Utah kicked off the congregation's year of services by speaking on liberal religion in the brave Newt world, a reference to Newt Gingrich at the time. The title itself reveals several things about Utah. We'll come back to them in part through the music and the reflections of Utah's son, Brendan Phillips. Thank you, Brendan. Through Utah's mentee, musical collaborator, touring companion, and friend, Bodhi Busick. Thank you, Bodhi. And Joanna was here. Utah's beloved spouse was here earlier today for the service. It was great to have Joanna here. We began with Utah's song, Singing Through the Hard Times, grateful for the way it meets us right now. Grateful for the way it meets us right where we are in these particular hard times. And we move from a founding member all the way to the other end to Marlene Bottenfield, who's one of UUCM's newest members. our worship associate for today, to invite us further in.
Good morning, friends. It's good to be here this morning gathered together today. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Community of the Mountains. I'm Marlene Bottenfield, your worship associate. Today is the second day of Advent. Last Sunday, we lit the candle of hope. This Sunday, we light the candle of peace as well. I didn't have the honor of knowing Utah Phillips, but I have grown to admire him and his legacy immensely while researching his life. Utah didn't start out his life as an adult with peace in his heart, but over time, it settled deeply in him. Utah was instrumental in establishing the Peace and Justice Center in Nevada County. It's fitting that we honor Utah during the second week of Advent. Please take a moment now and turn off or quiet your cell phone so that together we can honor Utah's life and legacy. Let's welcome and greet each other with a handshake, a hug, a namaste, or hello. And please be sure to consider each other's comfort zones when doing your greeting. And now we'll have Shannon we'll have Shannon read the land acknowledgement.
Utah Phillips once said, "I don't know how much senseless brutality has to be lived through before our world recognizes that behind every face there's a human being, a person whose life is as important as anyone else's." For hundreds of years, the indigenous people of this area lived in freedom. Then white men arrived and their lives were destroyed by disease and systematic decimation. Their land, their traditions, their lives, all deemed less important than the white man's. Today, the Nisenan have hope. Recognized as the original people of this land, our community honors them. The return of a small portion of their homeland is bringing the opportunity to recover more of their rich cultural heritage and create stability for their people. With this basket of black oak acorns, we pledge our ongoing support to the Nevada City Rancheria under the guidance and at their request.
And now Leslie will come up and read the chalice poem.
We have come into this room of hope by Libby Stoddard. We have come into this room of hope where our hearts and minds are open to the future. We have come into this room of justice where we set aside our fear to name freely every oppression. We have come into this room of love where we know that no lives are insignificant. and we have come into this room of song where we unite our voices in the somber and the beautiful melodies of life.
Thank you both. There's a song that Utah wrote called Kids Liberation song. In the middle of it, the lines are, "Oh, I ain't a broom that you hide in the closet, and I ain't a dog that you bribe with a treat. I'm tired of your threats and your punches and promises, and I'd run away, but I can't cross the street. Surrounded by teachers and creatures and parents, you say everybody knows better than me, but I know some things that you never thought of, and you'd be surprised at the stuff that I see." It's a really lovely, just yet another example of the way Utah respected and honored the experience and perspective of so many others. With that, I see that there's a box here. The wonder box, because we wonder what's in it. It's a lovely birch motif, and I truly have no idea what's in here. There are a bunch of pieces of paper. The first one says person. I have no idea where this is going, but I will be glad to find out later. Is there someone who'd like to carry the box with us? With you up to the Kids Connection as we sing? As we sing You're on Your Way, Marlene has lit the lamp from our chalice. Here comes chalice. Thank you.
Ammon Hennessy, founder of the Joe Hill House where Utah spent 8 years of his life, told Utah once, "You came into the world armed to the teeth with an arsenal of weapons, weapons of privilege, economic privilege, sexual privilege, racial privilege. If you want to be a pacifist, you're not just going to have to give up guns, knives, clubs, hard, angry words. You're going to have to lay down the weapons of privilege and go into the world completely disarmed." We'll learn more about Ammon Hennessy and the Joe Hill House during today's service. When Utah returned from the Korean War, he was angry about the injustices he saw. Angry because powerful people, those with privilege, didn't care. What about us? Are we trying to change our world through anger or through radical love? Are we disarmed of our privileges so that we too can transform the world as pacifists? Utah Phillips embodied both the 7 Unitarian Universalist principles that were recently recast as a set of 6 values centered in love, and the significance of our compassion, resistance, and resilience candle. Today, after each quote or reflection on Utah, we will light a candle in the honor of these values that he held so closely to his heart.
As we prepare to hear from Brendan, Utah's son, I thought a little, at least touch of bio might be helpful. Born in Cleveland, Ohio, into a family of radicals in 1935, Bruce Phillips and his family moved to Salt Lake City in 1947, where he learned to play the ukulele. He hopped his first train as a teenager, and after serving 3 years in the Army in Korea, where he says all that he learned was how to be a pacifist, he continued to roam the nation via the rails. Utah found both inspiration and kinship from the hobos and wobblies he encountered in his travels, and he morphed the stories and poems he learned into verse. He took on the nickname Utah Phillips as an homage to one of his favorite country singers, T. Texas Tyler. The son of labor organizers, Utah was active in labor and leftist politics in conservative Utah during the 1960s and ran for the U.S. Senate in 1968 on the Peace and Freedom Party ticket. He garnered more than 6,000 votes, but he was blacklisted. Unable to find employment because of his radical views, he left the state in 1969 and hopped freight trains to get to his coffee house and campus gigs. Brendan, where are you? Invite Brendan Phillips. Thank you.
Good morning. There are quite a few more people here. I imagine you're all night owls, that's why, right? Can't get up for that 9 o'clock service. Forgot to tune my guitar. Well, I just add, just a few things to add about my dad on reflection. My dad was someone who studied, and he spent great amounts of time when he was not on the road delving into history and literature. He was an incredibly knowledgeable person on Ethiopia and Egyptology, and he had books upon books that he would pore over to learn and study to craft the sets that you all have become so familiar with. And in those sets, he would talk about how, Reverend Tarsa mentioned that he ran on the Peace and Justice ticket, but he actually would say in his shows that he ran on the Sloth and Indolence ticket, and that he promised if he was elected he would shoot pool and pick his ass and do nothing, which is to say, if you want anything done, you get together and do it yourselves. That was his sort of campaign pitch. So he was an anarchist, but he would come to these moments in his shows. If you've all been to his concerts, you would know he doesn't play a lot of his own songs. You'd get a song or two. You might get a Railroadin' on the Great Divide, which isn't one of his own songs. You might get a Going Away or something. But a lot of the songs he sang were cultivated and mulched from all that history and all that work that he was doing behind the scenes. And this is one of those songs. And I put a poem in the middle that he wrote. And I do it a little differently. Many might recognize this one. As we go marching, marching in the glory beauty of the day, 8,000,000 darkened kitchens and 1,000 milllights gray, touched by all the radiance, had a sudden sun discloses. People hear us singing bread and roses, bread and roses. As we go marching, marching, we're marching too with men, for they are women's children, and we march with them again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread and give us roses. Yes, there will be a revolution, but one unlike any other. It will be a revolution of the heart, one in which we do not destroy what we have created, nor one in which we destroy those who claim ownership of our creations. Rather, we will ask them to walk among us and live like the rest of us within the justice of moderate means. Our revolution will be unlike past revolutions to the extent the brutality that we've come to know in past revolutions doesn't weigh so heavily upon our souls that we forget how to be kind. Our revolution will be a revolution of kindness. It has begun in our hearts and manifests through deeds and grows stronger day by day, till one day, suddenly, quietly, we discover that we have won. And there will be no celebrations and there will be no parades. Just a victory is turning to the person next to you and saying, hello. As we go marching, marching, unnumbered women dead. Go crying through our singing, our ancient call for bread. Small art, love and beauty, our dreary spirits new. Yes, it's bread that we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we go marching, marching, we bring the greater days. For the rising of the women is the rising of us all. No more the drud and idler, tend that toil while one reposes, but a sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses, oh bread and roses, bread and roses. Thank you.
Bodhi, you're up. I invite Bodhi Busick. Bodhi and I have been talking for a long time about Bodhi making music here, as Utah had done so many times. It's great to have you here this morning doing this, Bodhi.
Thank you, Brendan, for making it down here. Play for us. Thank you, Kevin. The first time I set foot in this room and knew about UU was I played a benefit for the roof here with Utah and Paul and Eleanor McDonald 20 years ago. So it's pretty sweet that so many years later, me and my mom would be becoming members of this congregation. And this is the first song I really remember. I think I had seen Utah play a couple times. I was a little kid, you know, so it's like as we mature, we become aware of things in a deeper way. And I remember him singing at the Miners Foundry when I was sitting on the steps, watching him from the side, and he was up there all by himself, and he sang this song I'm about to sing, which is about the pilot that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, and it just brought tears to my eyes, even at that young age, and just touched me. And I think what's so telling about this song is the way You know, it's easy maybe to have compassion for the. Can we get? Thank you. It's easy to. It's easier to have compassion for the victims of the atrocities, right? But this is a song. I mean, it does talk about the children. You could say of Hiroshima, but it really talks about the servicemen and the people that were just following orders to do these things. And I think that's what's so beautiful about Utah's work, and is that he just asked us to look at every facet of the situation. And so here's a song that just talks about so many different people in this terrible chapter of our history. And the song's called Enola Gay because I guess Utah moved when he moved to Utah, they lived next to an air base where the planes that had dropped the bombs were still flying out of. And as a young child, he would see them, and the kids would wave up to them. And he learned later that those were the same planes that had carried those bombs. So one of the pilots named the plane after his mother, and his mother's name was Enola Gay. It was Claude Dimmitz was the pilot. And so this is a song titled Enola Gay. It goes like this. Look out, from your schoolroom window. Look up, young children, from your play. Wave your hand, the shining airplane. Such a beautiful sight. It's Enola Gay. It's many a mile from the Utah desert to Tinian Island, far away. Standing guard by the barbed wire fences that hide the sea to the Enola Gay. High above, high above, in the sunlit silence, so peaceful here, I'd like to stay, but many a pilot would trade his pension for a chance to fly the Enola Gay. What is that sound high above my city? Somewhere there, up in the sky, now we are running to find the shelters. The air raid signs start to cry. What will I say when my children ask me, where was I flying on that day? With a trembling voice, I gave the order to the bombardiers of Enola Gay. Look up, from your schoolroom window. Look up, young children, from your play. Your bright young eyes will turn to ashes in the blinding light of Enola Gay. My God, I turn to see the fireball rising. My God, all I could say, I hear a voice within me crying, my mother's name was Enola Gay. Look out, from your schoolroom window. Look up, young children, from your play. Wave your hand, the shining airplane. It's a beautiful sight. It's Enola Gay. Thank you.
Bodhi, thank you. One of the many things I'm coming to appreciate about Utah is the way he did not shy away from the hard things. He did not shy away from the tough subjects, the hard things in life. Each week in this congregation, we engage a ritual together to honor what we're holding in our hearts, the things that are worrying us, the people that we're concerned about, the state of the world that we're holding, the joys too, the celebrations that we hold. Today, and we honor that by, in the room, taking a stone and placing it in the bowl of water here. And for those who are on Zoom, we invite people to type into the chat a little of what they're holding, or the equivalent of a stone, something round, an O or a 0, that does not have words attached. Today, I want to name the 2 incidents that have come to light in a prominent way in the last few days. One was a very violent attack after someone had hurled racial slurs at a person in town. Teenagers attacked. And in a way that has a resonance with the same event, a group of teenagers in August who attacked another young person, and not for racial reasons this time, but for a person who was othered in another kind of way, and attacked the friends who were trying to protect that person. All kicked in the head, nothing held back. 2 really violent responses that are not isolated incidents, right, in our nation, right? The what is being fomented or encouraged or made normal in the language of the time is this kind of violence. So these are not isolated incidents. But as our response from Color Me Human, our local organization, named, what I would name for us, that our town, our area, this community is not defined by that violence. Our community is defined by our response. So not to get trapped in the fear of the violence, but to say what actually defines this community is our response, our collective response. So with the weight of all of that, and with the spirit of Utah in mind, right, who did not shy away from holding that with the joyful things too, I invite us into this time. And so I invite you to take a moment to see what's in your heart this morning. What's stirring in you? If you're a person with a marginalized identity, you might be feeling a whole lot of fear right now. One of our goals is to be a support for you. There may be people in your life, maybe it's children, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's parents, maybe a friend, maybe yourself, that you're worried about or rejoicing with because something glorious and unexpected has happened. I invite you to take a moment in the silence to search your heart for what's most present in you, the thing you might spend time with, or if prayer is your practice, the thing you might pray for. What is in you? Brendan, I invite you up to be ready for the music. I invite us in this time, if you're so inclined, to get a stone, which will be in the back. In the back will be the stones. Looks like Eric's going to be holding those, maybe. If it works for you physically, I invite you to head that way around the outside aisles. And so when you're moving forward, both before and after, to come down the aisle this way, but return that way. The goal of having the stones in the back, often we have them up here on the table, is so that you have a moment with them. You have that travel time to be holding what's in your heart, kind of infusing in a way that stone with what you hold, so that's what's being offered, dropped into this bowl of water, a symbol of all that holds you, including this community. I invite us to hold each other, and if your practice is prayer or focused intention, I invite you to enter that space as well, as you're so ready.
Well, I invite you guys to sing this one with me. It's a fairly simple verse, repeated twice. So I'll teach it to you, and then we can all sing it together. I should say it's a very simple chorus, and we repeat it twice, and then I sing the verses. So. I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. And I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. Let's try it out. I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. And I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. You know, I think if Lady Luck was blind, well, that old sun, it would never shine. And I believe if death really held a knife, we'd all be beggars of life. Here we go. And I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. And I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. Sometimes I wish that I could close my eyes to some things I don't want to see. Still I believe if you lived your life again, you'd still be here with me. And I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. And I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. But I'll never see the ending of my mind, but everything must have its time. And why should I ask for things that I don't need? Pretty lies to hide my greed. I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. And I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you. And I believe if I lived my life again, I'd still be here with you.
For me, prayer is not an ask, but an acknowledgement that every breath we take, every heartbeat, every time our foot touches the ground, whether harshly or gently, we are praying. And in our awareness, prayer becomes our connection to the depths of life and love. Utah spent 8 years serving others at the Joe Hill House, a Catholic workers' home for the homeless in Salt Lake City. Under the guidance of Ammon Hennessy, it is here where Utah learned about Christian activism and Christian anarchism. Utah's experience at the house transformed his life. We offer Utah's prayer at the Joe Hill House as our prayer this morning. In my years at the Joe Hill House, I never heard a grace or supplication or blessing of any kind. The getting of food was part of our prayer. The fixing of food was part of our prayer. The gathering of wood for our fire was part of our prayer. There was nothing we did that was separate from our prayer. And the answer to our prayer was feeling good and hopeful about what we were doing. The answer to our prayer was a stomach that was full instead of empty, a body that was warm instead of out in the cold, someone with an arm around the shoulder instead of being alone. Our prayer was in the deed.
Thank you. That was such a sweet offering. So true. You know, Utah used to say, "My religion is my union." You know, and of course, a lot of the old wobbly songs, his union was the IWW, International Workers of the World, and his songs were part of the little red book that they put out, and of course a lot of those songs were set to the melodies of the old Pentecostal hymns. And he was such a prime, shining example of a person to whom activism and just good work and their service is their religion. And I would say, of course, not just in, this has been coming to me since the first service. We did a first service, and now getting to the second, there's just some things I wanted to say. And I was thinking he was an example of activism being a religion, not just in service, but also just in the art and the joy and the idea that he was making us laugh and think and believe in ourselves, and all the things that music and art do for us. And that's so much a part of it. And then, you know, it's like when I talk about UU church, I call it activist church to describe it to people, you know, because it's so different than what people think of as church, you know. I mean, it's truly a very radical, revolutionary thing we're doing here. And then I think of it, you know, to folks like us, Utah is one of our saints. You know, and I know it's getting giggles, but I mean that with the utmost seriousness. Amen. And because, I mean, for those of us, he was out there really on the front lines and put his life on the line, you know. And I think it's really important to remember that, you know, and just have awareness of those times. Kevin was just talking about things that have been happening in this community, and of course all over the nation like that. And Utah is an example of sometimes it's just not possible to be safe and stand up for the things that we want to stand up for. So. But, yeah, so Brendan is going to sing a song later in the service by a guy named Al Grierson. And Al was a member of the Rose Tattoo, hobo order. Brendan will talk to you a little more about that. And was a songwriter that Utah idolized and was a friend of. And it just so happened that one of the songs that Utah and I collaborated on was a song for Al. And I wrote the music to it. I had the pleasure of being able to write music to it. And so synchronicity would have it that Brendan's going to sing a song by Al later. And this song is about, talks about Coyote. The name of Brendan, the song that he'll sing later is about Coyote, but it talks about some things you'll understand that Al met his demise. He lived in his van and traveled around. He was in a flash flood in Texas when the water caught him and swept him down the canyon. So, and I think it's really just more of an analogy for moving on in general. You know, if it's losing the ones we love and going there ourselves, going through phases in life. All those things are sort of looked at in this song. So we call this song for Al. It goes like this. The sidewalks of Vancouver, rain begins to fall. Silence the Mount Shasta, settles over all. Running like the water, never leading, always led. And you listen to Coyote, and you listen to Coyote, and you listen to Coyote. He told us what he said. Pushed yourself off images, you landed like a cat. Exploded out of laughter, still looking for your hat. Words out of silence, only visions bring. You handed us another song, you handed us another song, you handed us another song that only you could sing. Stillness of the mountain, the saints are reaching down. Old heart of sorrow, young heart of a clown. The flood waters rising, I fight against the flow. You just hold on to the tree of life. You just hold on to the tree of life. You just hold on to the tree of life. just let go. The sidewalks of Vancouver, rain begins to fall. The silence of Mount Shasta settles over all. Thank you.
Really beautiful, Bodhi. Words by Utah Phillips, music by Bodhi Busick. Yeah. A collaboration. It's so good to have you singing. Thank you. I met Utah Phillips about 40 years ago in a potato field in the northern mitt of Lower Michigan. To be more clear, this was at a new folk music festival called the Bliss Fest, held in a fallow potato field near the town of Bliss. I attended for several years, camping out there for 3 days or so each time. And out of all the many wonderful musicians and storytellers and artists I experienced from those stages over all those years, Utah is the only one I remember specifically. Here was this wise, twinkle-eyed, brilliantly irreverent, truth-telling troubadour, poet, storyteller, looking somewhat like a rabbinical Kris Kringle, as one person put it. Speaking about and singing with such genuine warm-heartedness and laser insight critique to the human and social issues that were becoming important to me as a young adult. I remember looking him up afterwards in the old-fashioned way one did such things in the 1980s. But without the support of the internet, I then lost track of Utah until I arrived here in 2016, 8 years after Utah had died. That he would in time find a home in a Unitarian Universalist community did not surprise me. The qualities I had appreciated in him resonate with this tradition. As his beloved Joanna observed, Utah was a deeply spiritual person, and in a particular way, and he found here at UUCM a community where the spiritual met the social and the search for justice. Sharing in community, upholding deep values was his religion, I was told. And Utah loved this community, Joanna shared with me, loved it. UUCM was important to Utah, and he was pleased to be one of its founding members, member number 30, by the way. A few weeks after I arrived in Grass Valley, I was hearing Utah songs around the campfire at the annual congregation campout, including All Used Up and The Telling Takes Me Home. I learned recently from Shannon Dooley Miller that Utah held a fundraising concert to replace the plastic chairs being used after the pews were removed from this room, and the concert was titled Musical Chairs. Megan Cephalou, the minister at the time, presented Utah with a Lifetime Achievement Award that night. Bodhi already mentioned another concert held for raising money for the needed roof repairs. That concert was called Raising the Roof, and as we know, included Bodhi Busick. In one of our very first encounters, Anita Wald-Tuttle pulled me aside and explained to me with pride how what's now Utah's place had begun as a rotating shelter among several churches, fed by Utah's passion and compassion, with the room in the back here serving as the initial intake location where people seeking shelter could register, pick up some toiletries, some clothing, a snack perhaps if they chose, as they waited for transportation to that night's hosting church, that thing that happened for 8 years. Inspired by Hennessy's Houses of Hospitality model, Utah, who knew from experience what it meant to be unhoused, envisioned an effort in which it was a respect for voluntary poverty and a passion to help the poor, that would be what guided policy. As I reflect on the particular ways that social justice has been so important over the life of this congregation, I'm becoming more aware of the ways that Utah's spirit shaped this community's sense of itself as called to make a caring difference for people in the wider community. A spirit that I think UUCM is well poised to pick up on and renew with depth as it moves into the future, no matter which locations it calls home. What stands out to me in listening to and speaking with some of you who knew Utah, and in reading his own words, hearing his songs, listening to interviews with him, what stands out to me is the way he claimed so very deeply his own humanity first. He started there as a human being. There was a real humility in that regard. His own very human humanity was the place from which he saw and felt and responded to the rest of the world and the people in it, including celebrating the lowest of the low, as Ross Altman put it, with whom he made common cause. The memories and appreciations I've heard of Utah tell me that Utah made common cause with a whole lot of people. Pretty much everyone. Joanna said that he didn't want to be put on a pedestal, but the saint idea did occur to me as that exemplar, right? The person who has the vision that inspires. In today's particularly challenging and polarized time, there is a legacy in Utah's spirit that is more potent than I knew. A spirit deeply aligned with Unitarian Universalist values, the ones that we claim. A spirit which I believe can both inform and inspire this community for the important and transformative work ahead in fulfilling its own mission with courageous love to cultivate spiritual, emotional, and intellectual strength to create a world more compassionate, more sustainable, and more just. In this, Utah accompanies and very much can inspire us still. So with gratitude, I say, may it be so. There's more to come for us from Utah's legacy. When I asked about songs that express some important aspect of Utah, both Brendan and Joanna named Ship Gonna Sail. In the spirit of the times that we're navigating, this song felt fitting and supportive to conclude this remembering portion of the service. Thanks to Brendan.
All right, don't run for the hills. It's a banjo. It's only a banjo. I think it. Well, I'll tell that story later. So this song's got a sing-along portion too, if you want to try it out. Oh yeah, I gotta do this real quick though. I tune because I love you. I do promise. This is the fun thing about banjo, is that it's all about tuning. My dad disliked banjos immensely and almost prohibited me from learning it. But I got a banjo shortly after he died, and I said, "You can't stop me now, Dad, jeez." All right, I'm there. Almost. I'm so sorry. It must be the change in pressure, temperature. So this has got a part we can sing along. It's working on a ship. Working on a ship that I may never sail on. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. gonna build it anyway, right? So working on a ship may never sail on. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship may never sail on. Gonna build it anyway. You got it? Sojourner Truth said, ain't I a woman? Ship's gonna sail someday. Mother Jones said, no child, baby. Ship's gonna sail someday. Joe Hill said, you're born organized. Ship's gonna sail someday. Gene Deb said, well, there's a soul in prison. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Gonna build it anyway. Reese Sugar said, sit down. Ship's gonna sail someday. Cesar Chavez said, viva la huelga. Ship's gonna sail someday. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. Ship's gonna sail someday. Malcolm X said, power to the people. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Gonna build it anyway. Dorothy Day said, swords and the plowshare. Ship's gonna sail someday. Judy Berry said, no compromise. Ship's gonna sail someday. Phil Berrigan said, no more atom bombs. Ship's gonna sail someday. And Utah said, you gotta sail through the hard times. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Gonna build it anyway. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Ship's gonna sail someday. Working on a ship, may never sail on. Gonna build it anyway.
Brenda, thank you. Truly a message for our time, right? Ship's gonna sail. We may never sail on it. We're gonna build it anyway. I love this message for this moment in particular.
"50% of our offering this month will support Hospitality House. Today, we have the honor of having Hospitality House's Development Director, Debbie McDonald, here to share their mission with us.
I've already learned so much this morning about Utah Phillips that I didn't know beforehand. How many of you knew Utah Phillips or heard him perform kind of around when he founded Hospitality House with some of his friends, like in 2005? Many of you, many hands. And many of you are still involved at Hospitality House, making meals for over 100 people once a month and sometimes twice a month. So it's so amazing and really generous of you. I first met Utah Phillips when I was visiting his spouse, Joanna Robinson, back around 2005 when we moved up here and our whole family got involved in volunteering with Hospitality House. So my boys were 2 and 4 and 6, and we would get together at one of the nomadic locations and play bingo, and my boys would play chess with the guests. And so it's an honor to be with you this morning. Still 20 years later, we're celebrating our 20-year anniversary of Hospitality House. So it's exciting. You know, the truth is simple. The only way not to be homeless is to have a home. And Hospitality House continues to work strategically to create that pathway to housing with some of our community partners like Brendan and other people out there working toward that same end. So we meet guests wherever they are. So whether it's in outreach with street outreach or in camps, moving them to temporary shelter at Utah's Place over on Sutton Way, and then to transitional housing, and then to permanent housing, with full case management every step of the way. So that can involve lots of things like transportation to medical appointments, or recuperative care if someone gets released from the hospital and they don't have a home to go back to in order to recuperate, or say they have a pet and they need help caring for that pet, or finding their identification and recapturing that paperwork again, or reclaiming their Medi-Cal benefits or mental health counseling, just whatever they need at each stage of their journey to Pathway to Housing. You know, thanks to 2 new permanent housing locations, Hospitality House now has housing for 167 beds every night of the year, which is so exciting. And we're so just blessed to be able to provide that. And we're in touch with over 400 people a year. So what was once 100% temporary shelter housing has now moved to just 60% temporary shelter and 40% permanent housing. So, you know, there's one story, I mean, I know that's really exciting, the permanent housing, because that's what really makes the difference. And there's one story that I just want to share quickly, is a couple who they served, their jobs were to deliver, working for the union for 20 years here in Nevada County. And then one and then the other of them had a just serious medical incident. And they were not able to continue to work, and then the medical bills started piling up, and they lost their housing and ended up at the shelter with their little dog. So after working with them for a number of months, we were able to help them into permanent housing with their little dog, and we're just so blessed to be able to provide that for them. And the majority of people who we're helping in all of these services are seniors, you know, like many of us. And we also have a family dorm still at the shelter where, you know, that's full of a couple, at least one family right now. So, well, how can we help? You know, of course, always donating. I mean, through December 15th, we have someone who matches any donations that you make, so it kind of goes twice as far right now. And we can add Hospitality House to our estate plans. And of course, continuing to cook at the shelter is such a gift to those of who need a meal. So, you know, we are called to give justice to the poor and to the orphan, to uphold the rights of the oppressed and the destitute, to rescue the poor and the helpless. And as Utah reminded us, everyone needs the best in each other. So thank you for so generously supporting Hospitality House.
Thank you, Debbie.
Well, thank you again for having me today. I haven't been out playing music a lot. As mentioned, I work in the county, for the county, on homelessness and housing issues, part of the behavioral health department. And I've been doing that for 7 years now. And just going off of the stuff like Debbie was saying, you know, because I worked with Debbie back when I started in the county, and I've worked with so many great people. When I started in 2017, we had 35 units of what's called permanent supportive housing, which is housing with permanent supports for people who have severe and persistent mental illness. So many people who live on the street, as we know, have those ailments. That start at a young age. It's not their fault. It's not their parents' fault. And they slip into homelessness. And permanent supportive housing is an evidence-based way of saying, look, we need to have the permanent services alongside the housing, but the housing can't be contingent on the person getting well. You got to give them the housing first, and then you provide the services, and they can stay housed. So we've gone from 35 units to just receiving 2 new awards, and we'll be up over 140 units of permanent supportive housing in this county. So that's incredible. And those are housings with permanent supports to keep people housed. So I'm super proud to work on grants like that. And we just finished a grant and just finished a building right below Hospitality House at 1103 Sutton Way. And that is the Community Commons Resource Center, the CRC, and it's a day center, a resource center for people experiencing homelessness to be during the day, take showers, do their laundry, get all the basic services they need. And that center is run by Spirit, the Peer Empowerment Center. And I wanted to put a date on your calendars, but on December 19th, we're going to do a Longest Night celebration, the first that I know of. But the Longest Night is celebrated around the world, and it is to honor the people who've passed away on the street for that year. And in Portland, when I worked at Sisters of the Road, they had the most powerful Longest Night celebrations. Tears, it's just impossible not to cry when you're in the presence of so many faith leaders, and they're all reading the names of all the people who hadn't made it through that year, hadn't gotten housed yet. So I'd invite all of you, December 19th at 5 o'clock, 1103 Sutton Way, the Commons Resource Center. We're going to gather outside, and we're going to light candles for everyone who's passed away this year on the street. And in previous years, we lose people every year. And so it's a way for us all to come together to memorialize that. And Reverend Tarsa might be able to make it too and say a few words. And we listen to members of the community as well. So we invite you to come to that. So I had, up there was a song I was going to play called Old Coyote. And the clouds opened up and my father sent a lightning bolt straight into my head. And he said, no, play this song instead. This is a song I wrote for my dad, and it has a part for you. It's done Baptist style. Do we have any Baptists here? Well, I was going to say it's two doors down. You should probably, you're not in the right place. No, but Baptist style is call and response, right? So I'm going to sing a line, and you're going to sing it back. And it shouldn't be too hard or challenging. And so this song I wrote for my father when he passed away. I was at Olympia, Washington at the time, and I'd just gotten a banjo, and much to his dismay, I was learning to play it. And so fitting that the first song I ever wrote for him, the only song I ever wrote for him, I wrote on the banjo. What a soul's made of, and who decides it's over? Just a few questions I had that night. Coming in on a red eye, pulling in after midnight. I just wanted to hold you and tell you it would be all right. Light as a feather, walk up the stairs together. Didn't want to let go, had to say goodbye. Oh mother, oh sister, oh brother. Looks like he's dreaming, said he didn't want to linger. Well, linger on. In stories and in songs, we'll all keep singing for years to come. Midnight and you slip away up the hill past the garden's gate. There's a fire in the flickering light, familiar faces pass the time. In the distance a whistle blows, rise up, scatter the coals. There's time for one last ride now, railroading on the Great Divide. And railroading on the Great Divide. Nothing around me but the Rockies in the sky. It's there you'll find me as the years go by. Railroading on the Great Divide. Railroading on the Great Divide. There's nothing around me but the Rockies in the sky. It's there you'll find me as the years go by. Railroading on the Great Divide. 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 We'll linger on. In stories and in songs. We'll all keep singing. For years to come. My heart is a part of a greater revolution. Body is a ballad and I cast it every day. We all have a song in the long memory. The sharing of a tale is how we pray. Heart is a part of a greater revolution. Body is a ballad and I cast it every day. We all have a song in the long memory. The sharing of a tale is how we pray. Heart is a part of a greater revolution. Body is a ballad and I cast it every day. We all have a song in the long memory. The sharing of a tale is how we pray. Thank you.
Thank you for giving generously in dollars, in spirit, and in actions. We dedicate these offerings to the vision of a resilient community, nourished through connections to nature, place, and one another, where our souls are fed as we journey onward.
Brendan, the building's still standing even after the banjo. Huge thank you to Bodhi and Brendan and Heather for the music today. Marlene, is this your first official solo flight as worship associate? Oh, it's Marlene's first official solo flight as worship associate. For 2 services, right? And true to form, we did not coordinate on the color scheme on the pink today. So I invite you to find someone on the list to thank. So many people make a service happen. Find someone in particular you would thank afterwards. And very briefly, just a few announcements. There's a special meeting coming right up. So it's about almost that time to be pulling the pizza out. Holiday Bazaar is happening in the back. Come check out, buy some things for holiday gifts, and thanks for everyone who's brought things. Women's Circle on Monday, Arts and Crafts Circle on Friday. Winter holidays coming up. Solstice evening, Christmas Eve, a couple services. Christmas Day, stay tuned into those if you're around for the holidays, and please join us. As always, keep watching for the latest info. I invite Carol Ritchie, Congregation President, to offer our closing words.
Blessing of Hope by Jan Richardson. So may we know the hope that is not just for someday, but for this day, here, now, in this moment, that opens to us hope not made of wishes, but of substance. Hope made of sinew and muscle and bone. Hope that has breath and a beating heart. Hope that will not keep quiet and be polite. Hope that knows how to holler when it's called for. Hope that knows how to sing when there seems little cause. Hope that raises us from the dead, not someday, but this day, every day, again and again and again.
Yay!
So thanks for your patience for a longer service, but I think we just have to end with singing. So what I'd like to do is link the past and the present. So There's More Love Somewhere is a song that was in the hymn books when Utah Phillips was a member here, and a song we still sing today. We're gonna back and forth with Singing Through the Hard Times, because that's a song we could be singing any given moment these days. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to sing.
Times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. Singing through the hard times, looking for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. We will sing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come.
As Utah so aptly stated, I am here to change the world, and if I'm not, I'm probably wasting my time. Let's carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. So thank you, and we'll see you in a few seconds for lunch. And then at 1 p.m., we'll have our time of reflection, questions, and voting at our community business meeting. We'd love to have you stay. Those of you who can't, we'll see you next Sunday.
We're singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for